What's up, guys, and welcome to the podcast. As always, I'm super pumped for this episode, but I'm changing it up a little bit. I wanted to bring you the best from my home of Orange County, and we're actually kicking off what I'm calling the summer series with Bre Thomas, who's been on the show before, but I've had so much respect watching her grow her business over the last year, and in addition to that, her knowledge in nutrition and exercise has really had a huge impact on my life, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. So before I speak too much, let's get Bre on the show.
Hi guys, my name is Bre Thomas. I am the owner of Nutrivenience. We are a whole food meal delivery company in Orange County. I also teach spin classes. I take Pilates. I drink the green drinks. I do a little bit of everything. I sling the vegetables.
Sling the vegetables?
Yeah, slinging vegetables all day, every day.
Every day you're brustling.
Every day I am brustling.
My girlfriend saw that and was like, she lost her shit because she loves puns. And I was like, I actually screen saved them on my phone. I was like, dude, you got to check this out. It's pretty awesome.
It's just too appropriate.
So tell us a little bit about how you got into Nutrivenience in the first place and why you decided to start cooking for a living.
So I got into cooking. My parents did it a lot when I was younger. I've always loved it. But when I really kind of dove into it was when I started getting into the health perspective. I think growing up, I dieted a lot. I just think with our culture nowadays, and women especially, even from a young age, sadly, you're wanting to lose weight or you just have a specific body image. So anyways, I dieted a lot, yo-yo dieted, did random things, completely unhealthy. As I got older, I started to realize, wow, I feel like crap. And wow, a lot of this stuff is not working. Throughout this time, I actually started going to culinary school and I got really interested in holistic nutrition.
Sure.
And that's what I specialize in. And so I started private chefing in the area, working for clients in Orange County, and they wanted the same thing. They wanted to know how to lose weight, and they would come to me with these diets. Some of them I had tried before, some of them I had not, and they would ask me to obviously execute those diets for them. So I would make the meals, the snacks, whatever. Right. And a lot of these diets I would actually try with them just because I was curious for my own knowledge as well. And I finally had one client that I actually approached her and I was like, let's try this. At the time, I had read the China study. I was very into documentaries on Netflix and just like I said, engulfed in this kind of whole holistic nutrition perspective. And so we did a whole food plant-based diet, which basically consists of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and legumes. We both did it for a month, and I think I lost about 12 pounds.
Wow.
But it was the best I had ever felt. And
Yeah.
my client thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the light bulb moment because I've done paleo, I've done keto, I've done, all of these things, and you feel so foggy.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're tired. You don't have any energy. Yeah, you might lose the weight, but it's like, God, I feel like death.
Yeah.
So with this, that energy uplift and that clarity and all of that stuff was just like, wow. And once I felt that way, it was kind of hard to go back to anything else.
Right.
So from there, I was like, I have to figure out a way to share this with as many people as I can.
So that's really where it came from.
Yeah.
Why you started, because you wanted to share it with other people and make them feel good.
Yeah, well, because I felt like I went through the process trying to figure it out my whole life, like trying to find that one thing that worked. And I feel like, in so many aspects of life, we all do that. And I found it for myself.
Yeah.
And, 100%. And I know a lot of people were looking for it too. So if that's what Nutrivenience can be for them, I've won.
Dude. I just gained a lot more respect for you after that. I love hearing those types of stories because diet is such a tough thing. And we were talking a little bit before we recorded about diet culture and how crazy it is. Like on one end, I'm hearing keto, eat all the bacon and meat that you want. I can't imagine that that's good for you. And then on your end, yours is primarily plant-based. I know we'll touch on the 80-20 rule later on that you have, but can you talk a little bit about the like diet culture, especially like we're based in Orange County, like it is
Yes.
tough around here. So what have you seen?
So definitely what I've seen, people have this protein craze. High protein, low carbs. That's, 90% of the people that I come into contact with. We have talked about this before. With that diet, you're completely omitting food groups. So you're not consuming whole grains and you're not really consuming legumes. And a lot of the things that you're consuming are processed. And I'm just not for that. And those things are not good for your body. I'm not saying that meat is the devil. I'm and this is a whole nother thing, but I'm not vegan, just so everybody knows.
Right.
And I think people don't understand that perspective. But and like I said, we will get into that. But there is so much more when it comes to food than protein and protein and protein and protein and protein. I always ask people, where do you think your protein got its protein?
Right.
Bruh. But seriously, I mean, let's look at the biggest, strongest mammals on Earth. Elephants, rhinoceros, gorillas, woolly mammoths, which are obviously extinct.
Right.
They're all herbivores.
Yeah.
They all eat plants,
Right.
So plants are the protein source. Animals are actually the secondary source of protein.
Yeah.
Plants synthesize protein. They make protein. They make amino acids.
Right.
Animals just consume them. We store them, they're in their bodies, and then we consume those animals.
So I think a lot of these are like fad diets as well. The keto thing seems to be coming up quite a bit. I'll be honest, I have like the MCT oil and whatever.
I did keto. I did it for 3 months. I lost a lot of weight, but I was so foggy and unhappy and just not feeling good.
Right.
Just not feeling good. And I think that's the major thing with these diets and, with us living in general. It's checking in with how we feel. It's not always about the results. It's how are you feeling when you are waking up? How does your stomach feel? Do you feel bloated? Is your digestion off? Like, are you cramping after you're eating?
Right.
Are you sleeping well? Do you have energy to get through your day? Do you feel inspired and energetic and uplifted, or do you feel really down and droopy?
Right.
And that's all based on the fuel that we put in our body, the food that we're consuming.
Yeah. So, we were kind of touching on diet culture, how keto might be like one of these fad diets, and who knows, like to each his own, right? But then there's also the paleo thing and even the vegan thing.
Yes.
Nutrivenience is vegan, right?
Correct.
And I have to play devil's advocate for those who might say that, the vegan movement is also a fad. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah. So obviously people think the vegan movement we're extremists or whatever. And I don't even want to classify myself in that category. Again, everybody's body is different. I recommend people to try everything until you find something that works for you.
Right.
This is what worked for me.
Right.
And I say it worked for me because not only did I lose weight, I felt the best I'd ever felt in my entire life. That's why it worked for me.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I tried. It was the best I've felt, I'm pretty sure, in my entire life too. Like, I didn't even need coffee on day 2. I've only done the 3-day cleanses with you.
Yes.
But the second day I was like, dude, I feel good. Like, I'm going throughout the whole day. In fact, you portion out all the meals and I'm not even hungry because I'm assuming because it's so nutrient dense where I don't really need it. And so I'm actually forcing myself sometimes to eat some of the stuff, and only because I'm not hungry, but I want to eat all the food. Which
is crazy for some people to think, if you're doing I hear that a lot from clients that they are full. It's a different sort of fuel. Like you said, you touched on the nutrient dense. Our meals are nutrient dense, but they're calorically shallow. Yeah. It's different. Normally, the way that people are eating in at least Western diet is calorically dense and nutrient shallow. We're consuming a lot of calories, but very, very little nutrients.
Yeah. So we mentioned that you're the owner of Nutrivenience. You've been doing an excellent job in my perspective. Not that that might matter. I don't know, but I love it. That's why
it does matter.
That's why I've been wanting you to come back over and over again and do this podcast. But what we didn't touch on is you're actually the owner of Orange County's most incredible abdominal muscles. And I'd like to figure out how we get those. And I'm sure the listener would like that as well.
Oh, the ab question. So, I mean, I'm going to stick to, again, what has worked for me. And, I always mention the 80-20 principle, and I kind of apply that to a lot of different areas of my life. When it comes to abs, I say 100% it is 80% nutrition, 20% fitness. So we all have abdominal muscles, and they're normally just underneath a layer of fat. Obviously we can grow and shrink those muscles, etc. So obviously the fat loss is key. A little bit of diet is key. But for me, honestly, if I go on a donut binge, which not like I ever do that, it never happens. No, but you won't see my abs.
Right.
They're gone. You will not see them.
When's the last time you went on a donut binge?
My birthday, actually.
Okay.
I turned 30. A friend went and got me one of each of the donuts from Sidecar.
Right.
And I took like 3 bites of each one, and I wanted to throw up, but it was amazing.
Of each of the donuts from Sidecar?
Of each of the donuts, of every single one.
There's at least 20 there.
I think there was probably 12 or 13.
Okay.
I went big. I turned 30. Okay? But again, I eat that and I feel like crap.
Right.
And I know I'm going to feel like crap. So
Right.
I call it mindful eating.
Yeah.
It's all about being mindful. Mentally, it tastes good. It makes me feel good. I love it.
Yeah.
But physically, it's not there, which is why I choose not to live like that and eat
Right.
those things every single day. Once in a while, yeah. Anyways, but back to the ab question. I would definitely say 80% nutrition. If you are not eating the right things, you are not going to see your abs.
Right.
And there are multiple things. I mean, not only the fat layer, but bloating and inflammation, which a lot of us have and a lot of people aren't even aware of.
Right.
A lot of us don't have healthy digestion, and that 100% counts on what you're eating.
Right.
If your body isn't happy with what you're eating, you are going to be bloated and you are going to have inflammation in your stomach, which is really going to affect how many abs you have.
And honestly, a lot of that does come from red meat. Does cause a lot of this inflammation
Correct.
and bloating, right?
Well, what happens as we get older is our body stops producing as much hydrochloric acid, which
Right.
is the stomach acid that breaks down food. So meat, red meat, even chicken, even fish, things like that, those are going to be the heavier things to digest.
Even fish.
The harder things to digest. Yes, I'm talking about in comparison to plants,
Gotcha.
fruit,
Okay.
grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Those are going to be much harder. So with your body having less acid to break those things down, you're going to have issues. And a lot of people start to see issues the older that they get. Those heavy foods are harder to digest. Your stomach gets huge and it stays huge for a lot longer.
Right.
We change. Again, it's that thing. It's listening to your body. It's feeling it out, being mindful of what's going on inside of you.
Right. I listen to my body pretty often, and
Yeah.
it keeps telling me chili cheese dogs, pizza,
But that's what
cheeseburgers.
there's a mental, and then there's definitely, you know what I mean? There's the fight. It's
Right.
the good. It's on each shoulder.
Right.
No,
I
it's the
get
angel
it,
and the devil.
This is why I like the 80-20 rule. But
Yeah.
for somebody that look, it's hard for some people to cut out breads.
Yes.
Is really hard for me,
Mhm.
right? Rice is another one that's really hard, like white rice. I was raised on white rice,
Correct.
obviously. It's okay.
I actually
It's funny
love
if I
white
say it
rice.
about myself. But those things are hard for me to avoid,
Yes.
and meats are hard for me to avoid. And for the listener as well, there's probably something where it's like, dude, I cannot live
Yes.
without chicken or something. What are some easy things that we might be able to be cut out or
Which-
add in?
Yes, which I am totally okay with because I'm the same way. I actually prefer white rice to brown rice.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about before. I very often eat at Chipotle because it's easy and they have whole foods. They have the rice, the beans, the lettuce. I don't get any of the dairy. I normally don't get the meats. I get the salsa, stuff like that. But I always choose the white rice.
Right.
White rice isn't going to kill you. It's not overly processed. I would say eat the white rice.
Right.
Breads in general, I would say, there are healthy options to items that you have to keep in your diet.
Right.
So bread, let's talk whole grain, a whole grain bread. Don't eat that Wonder Bread.
Mhm.
Don't eat that crap. Chicken. If you can't omit chicken, fine. Maybe cut it down to, maybe omit it out of one meal a day
Mhm.
to start. And get quality products.
Right.
So with the chicken especially, buy organic, buy free range.
Right.
It's your body is going to thank you because you're not consuming those antibiotics and all of that crap that poor chicken ate throughout its life, you know?
Man.
And that stuff is scary.
Yeah.
So keep your vices,
Mm-hmm.
but be smart about it.
Yeah.
You know? Or just cut them out a little bit.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's one of those, it's one of those, what is it? Everything in moderation.
Yes, it's a give and take. Well, like I said, I feel like all of us, we need to find our groove when it comes to everything.
Yeah.
But, specifically we're talking about diet, and we all have those things, just like you said, that we have to keep. I love donuts. I love sweets. Like, I love sweets. Crazy person. I have to have them. But I make smart choices when it's not, my cheat day, when it's not my 30th birthday and I'm eating 15 donuts. I choose, like, for instance, yesterday I was at Whole Foods and I just found this company that makes this chocolate that is made out of cacao and coconut oil and coconut butter, I believe, and like strawberries.
Right.
And those are the only ingredients in it. And to me, that is 100% okay. I'm not going to eat it all the time, but that is a whole food treat.
Right.
And we're so lucky that there are more options coming out like that. I think, reading ingredient labels is huge. I know this is kind of off topic, but my number one rule when you're reading your ingredient label, your ingredients should not have ingredients. Let me say that again. Your ingredients should not have ingredients, which means when you read something on an ingredient label, there should be no parentheses after that containing more ingredients, like a subcategory.
Right.
No, that's not okay. So that's rule number one.
Yeah.
Rule number two, try to stay under, 7 to 10 ingredients in a product.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that. I like that.
Yeah. Try to keep it low. And make sure, you can pronounce everything. Like I said, cacao, coconut, strawberries, bananas, brown rice, whatever's in the ingredients, but like they need to all be actual foods, not disodium blah blah.
Right.
Like, no.
But it's true. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, actually. Now, is there something for you personally, like, that you 100% avoid for health reasons?
For me, that I 100% avoid, I don't drink milk.
Oh. Why?
I don't believe in dairy.
Okay.
I used to. I grew up on milk. But I've just read too many studies. And, I mean, in terms of just thinking about it, no other mammal, drinks another mammal's milk continuously throughout their life.
Yeah.
And especially a 2,000-pound mammal.
Yeah.
That cow is producing milk to grow another cow, not, So also I've read studies about pus cells in milk, and it just grosses me out, and I just kind of want nothing to do with it. And you know what? I've actually not tried consuming it, but like, for instance, Yogurtland.
Right.
Like, I love their plain yogurt. I can't eat it anymore. Now that I've stopped consuming dairy to an excess or whatever, my body doesn't process it.
Yeah.
We're not meant to process it.
Right.
We've evolved to process it. A lot of people are still lactose intolerant and will be lactose intolerant throughout their entire life.
So some people crave sugar, they crave meat, they crave carbs. Do you believe that if you give yourself, let's say you do your cleanse, which is actually what I do.
Yes.
This is my thought process when I get your cleanse is my body has been craving pizza legitimately for a month. I'm going to take your cleanse for 2 weeks straight, and then I'll just and then after that, now I feel like I'm craving vegetables type of thing.
So I think what happens is I think we get the mentality more so from it.
Okay.
Like, my body is a tricky bitch. She's always going to crave donuts.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that my body needs donuts.
Right.
That just means that that's my craving, and those things taste good and they make me happy. But I think once you involve the feeling of how your body feels when it's happy and when it's healthy, and when you're eating things to nourish your body and not just nourish those cravings, I think you kind of have a sort of shift.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, again, I could say I'm craving donuts, but not enough to feel the way that I know I'm going to feel after I eat them.
Right.
I want to eat these vegetables because I want to feel good, or I want to eat this specific meal because it makes me feel good and it makes my body happy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of conditioning that response within ourselves, within our brains, and within our bodies, and getting that connection so that your body eventually starts seeking those things and almost asking for them, like you said. It's like now you're craving things that you never really craved before.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about your 80-20 rule?
Yeah, 80-20. So I'm all about balance, 100%. Again, I am not vegan. I own a vegan meal delivery company because I love food. You know, I'm a chef, and food is my passion, and it inspires me, and I love tasting new things and trying new things and going out to dinners, and I just love it all. So my 80-20 is Monday through Friday, I'm good. You know, I work out, I eat whole food plant-based. So again, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, as much as I want, whenever I want. And then on the weekends, I let myself kind of do what I want. And now that doesn't mean that I go crazy. It's interesting. I used to be really strict with myself, and I would have like one cheat meal a week or even one cheat day, and I would lose my shit. And I would make myself sick because I would try to fit in everything I could within that one day that I needed. Like, I would literally make a list throughout the week of what
that you're gonna eat?
I was going to eat on that day. Because one, the eating style that I was on was not obviously making my body happy. I was miserable. And two, you know, I was just, like I said, I was losing it. So I think it's funny, the more freedom that I've allowed myself within this eating style, the less I want those bad things. It's interesting because I know I can have them if I truly want them. Yeah. You know, it's not like, I don't know, the restriction almost makes it worse.
This is kind of a different well, for one, I want to ask, if I put sidecar donuts in front of you right now, you'd be like, not till Saturday, right? That's how strict it is about
You know what? I have no urge right now because I just taught spin this morning.
Yeah.
I had my green juice. I had my, you know, Vega protein shake with my almond milk, and I feel good right now.
Yeah.
If I eat a donut, I call it the donut hangover. Like literally within 30 minutes after I eat that, I'm going to crash so hard. And I don't have time for that shit.
That's crazy. No, I like that. I like that a lot. You mentioned something about you're not craving it. You have the choice to eat food. I think you mentioned earlier about the mental aspect. Can we talk about the mental aspect of like food and where people put that?
Totally. So I think, could you rephrase the question one more time?
Well, some people may struggle with the mental aspect of food. There's a reason it's called comfort food or whatever it is. How do you get over that personally? I mean, you kind of talked about it about, you know that you're going to feel a certain way. You say that you have a choice to do this. You don't have to do it or whatever.
Totally. So like I said, you make that mental connection, or I have made that mental connection enough. And I think it takes multiple times. Just like, you know, neural pathways in our brain, they talk about certain things. I think that's the same connection with food. It's creating this good thing. It's making healthy food not a restriction, not a bad thing. It's making healthy food a good thing, and it's almost celebrating that, you know? And I think that's where it changed for me, where before it was like, oh my God, I have to eat, like, I remember these stupid diets. Like, I would eat a grapefruit with stevia on it for breakfast. And I would just dread it every morning waking up. Like, I did not want to do it. There was no joy in it. And now it's like, you know, I've found freedom through this diet sort of because I love eating whole food plant-based. I can eat carbs.
Because you've associated it with how you feel and that type of stuff?
With both that and that I feel like I've gotten obviously a little bit creative with it. And I've really found things that I enjoy. And the biggest thing, like, I know I just said it, but it's carbs. Like, I've restricted myself from carbs my whole life. And now being able to, like, eat rice and eat all of these things makes me so happy. Like, whole grain bread with nut butter in the morning is awesome. Like, a really good smoothie with fruit and almond milk. Like, I love that. For lunch, a lot of times I get, a veggie sushi roll, or I'll get like a bowl from somewhere with rice and veggies and sauces and all sorts of stuff. I think I just had, what did I just have the other night? Veggie pho. Like, I love that. Like, obviously the noodles are a little bit processed, but they're made out of rice. They're rice noodles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually feel more freedom within this diet than I did. I don't want to call it a diet, an eating style, than I did with what I was doing before.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it because I feel good.
That's awesome. I love that.
A lot of the times, even on the weekends, like when I roll over to Saturday, Sunday, I'll just continue eating this way.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. It's really cool to see how passionate you are about like the food itself and like what it's done for you, obviously. And that's why you started Nutrivenience. I'd like to talk a little bit about that too. Like, what are you doing at Nutrivenience? I mean, you're cooking everything.
Yes.
For a while you were delivering.
We're still delivering. Yeah. So we do it all. It's a lot. But again, it's so satisfying. So we have a kitchen in Costa Mesa where we make all of the food, the juice, the almond milks, all of that stuff. We package it together and we deliver to everyone's home throughout Orange County. We have 2 delivery days. I don't like to send out a lot of food. Obviously, I like to keep it very fresh. So we don't send out more than 3 days worth of food at a time.
Is Bre going in and handpicking what's going to be in the meals?
Yes. Wow. I touch everything.
Yeah.
We talked about this before. I have control issues.
You wash your hands before you touch it.
Oh, 100%. No, 100%. I wash my hands. Everybody else washes their hands. We suit up. Like, but yeah, this is my baby, and I think that I want to, we've talked, like, I don't really want to ever sell out. And I know that's kind of a bad thing to say, but I'm not in this for the money.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we stand apart, because I think that shows.
Yeah.
We don't cut corners. We use quality products. I take so much time on these recipes, on making them creative and tasty, and not only do they make you feel good and taste good, but they look beautiful as well. It's like, I don't know any meal delivery companies, you open that friggin' lid and it's like mush next to brown next to, it's scary. And it's like with us, the entire experience, my main goal is we make food that looks good, tastes good, and makes you feel good. Like those are our 3 pillars that we try to hit with everything that we produce. And it's
awesome. And it's actually very true. I've tried like probably 5 different meal service things. For a long time I tried meal services just for time. I don't set aside the time to cook.
Yes, which is probably 90% of why people choose these meal delivery companies, which is also why a lot of them can get away with, not putting out the highest quality or the most beautiful food, is because people they want it quick. Again, they want the numbers. Most people get the calories, get the protein, get the carbs that they need, get it in, and like keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, agreed.
Not with your stuff. Like you can really, and this, like, look, I've been a fan of this for so long. I'm not just joking. Like, honestly, you can enjoy a lot of the food there. The, what is it? The cashew pudding in the morning?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that is everything to me.
You said you were just waiting, to wake up. It makes me happy that I'm slowly converting you. Slowly but surely every week. Yeah, no. And like you said, I get texts like that from clients all the time, texts and emails. And it's like, I can't believe how good this stuff is. Or like, I can't wait to wake up. Like you said, I can't wait to wake up and have that breakfast. Like I was looking forward to it in the morning. Like that's what it's all about. Yeah. And the people saying, I love when people tell me how they feel. That's my biggest thing. Mm-hmm. I love that I can help people lose weight and feel good about themselves. Yes, but it's making them feel good and giving them energy. And, I feel like we live in a society that's so fast paced and we're always tired. And everybody just thinks like, I'm just tired because I have so much going on. And we're kind of just these hollow shells. And we don't have to live like that. There's more to it, and there can be more to it, and you change that through diet exclusively. Yeah.
So you've given us so much today in regard to, education about nutrition, how you do things, and what one might do to kind of get over their own things, which I think is great. But what would you say is your overarching piece of advice to the listener about diet, about their life, or anything like that? I know that there's a ton in you right now.
There's a ton. My biggest thing for today would be find your groove. And in terms of diet, that would be try as many different kinds or as many different types of eating styles as you can until you find what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, when you eat a meal, think about how you feel. They say it takes about 2 hours. And this even goes down to your mood. You know, one of my favorite things that I always say is food encourages thought, thought inspires action, action determines your life.
Yeah.
And the food that you eat on a chemical level influences your hormones and everything inside of you. Your hormones are going to influence what sort of mood you're going to be in. If you're in a bad mood, if I wake up in the morning and I'm like, no, I'm not inspired today, don't have the energy, I'm not going to go to my workout, I'm not going to go do those things. Those are the actions that are not going to happen in my life. And those actions are what define your life eventually, day in and day out. So find your groove, listen to your body, eat things that make you feel good. If what you're eating right now doesn't make you feel good, try something else.
Yeah. That's awesome. Bre, I love it. I can't wait to have you back because I'm going to have you back on the show. There's so much that I still want to talk about. But for anybody who might want to get in touch with you or send you some donuts, how can they find you?
Yeah. Only on Saturdays and Sundays, please. So my personal Instagram is at Bre Thomas, BRE_THOMAS. And my company Instagram is at Nutrivenience. It's NUTRIVENIENCE.
I love it. To the listener, we really appreciate your time. If you love the episode, we would really appreciate a 5-star review. If you didn't like the episode that much, feel free to stick it to us, but subscribe anyway, because we're going to have a lot of incredible guests just like Bre back on the show. Thank you again, Bre.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, guys? I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to follow along on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter at Mick, M-I-Q-K.